Mr. Popo tells Gohan and Broly that Kami is gone, but he can take them to where Kami may have come from. We all know how this part went. Popo tells Bulma more about Kami's backstory. Popo takes Bulma to Kami's ship. They get it all up and running, but they make a few modifications. They add a gravity chamber and additional living quarters to make it more accommodating for multiple occupants. Broly, Gohan, Krillin, and Bulma make preparations to set off on their journey to planet Namek. Broly and Gohan say goodbye to launch and set off to revive the fallen warriors. As they fly through space, Gohan and Broly use the gravity chamber to train, starting off at 10 times Earth's gravity, and they train their bodies to the peak of their abilities. They work their way from 10 times to 100 times Earth's gravity. They aren't sure what's waiting for them on Namek, but it's better to be prepared. The 6 days fly by as they touch down on Namek. As Broly steps off the ship, he scans the horizon. He feels out the Namekians' power, but he can sense a familiar energy. Broly tells Gohan and Krillin that it's time to start looking for the Dragon Balls. Bulma gives them the Dragon Radar. Broly clicks it on and the radar begins to beep. They set off to find the magical orbs. Broly, Gohan, and Krillin fly through the skies in search of the Dragon Balls. They fly over several Namekian villages but feel no power. They finally decide to land to see who is around. As they touch down, Broly takes a look around at the village. Namekian bodies litter the ground. Not a living soul in sight. Krillin asks what could have happened. Broly explains to Krillin that when they landed, Broly could sense Vegeta's energy. This was the only explanation for all the death and destruction. Krillin and Gohan do their best to compose themselves and see if the Dragon Ball was left behind. They find it under a pile of rubble and take it back to Bulma. They continue their journey to the next Namekian village. The Dragon Radar leads them to the next village, but this one hasn't been touched. They touch down and find the Namekians looking at them in fear. Broly says hello, but they tremble in fear. The village elder approaches Broly and demands to know what Broly wants. Broly tells them that they are looking for the Dragon Balls. He tells them of the Saiyans and how they used to have their own, but unfortunately their guardian died. The Namekians look at Broly surprised. The village elder asks if he is going to kill them. Broly reassures them that the only thing that Broly wants is the Dragon Balls, and not to bring harm to anyone. The village elder tells Broly and the others that there are great threats on Namek. People that are here to kill and conquer the planet, and to be careful. Broly thanks the elder for the heads up and asks if he can have their Dragon Ball. The elder tells him he can have the Dragon Ball only if he can help the Namekian people. Help them fight off the evildoers and save their planet. Broly vows to do his best and takes the second Dragon Ball back to Bulma. They choose to rest for just a minute and Broly clicks the Dragon Radar to see where the next one is. The radar shows him that 2 of the Dragon Balls are right next to each other. This could only happen if someone had happened to gather them. He tells Gohan and Krillin to stay with Bulma. They protest, but Broly tells them that he will be back shortly. He flies in the direction of the Dragon Balls and his fears are confirmed. As he approached the Namekian village, he lowered his power level and hid behind a ridge. He peered his head over the ridge and he saw Vegeta and Kakarot threatening the Namekian villagers. He heard them mention that an elder at one of the last villages told them about the Dragon Balls in order to spare his village. So Vegeta offers them the same deal. Hand over the Dragon Ball or perish. As Vegeta is talking, he can see 2 of the Dragon Balls under Kakarot's arms. Broly rushes down to the village and tells them to drop the Dragon Balls and leave the villagers alone. Vegeta laughs. He tells Broly that after he found out about the wish, his goal is to obtain immortality and overthrow Frieza. Broly says he doesn't know who Frieza is, but these villagers don't need to suffer. Vegeta scoffs and assures Broly he's gotten much stronger since their last encounter. Broly is unmoved. Vegeta tells Kakarot to find the Dragon Ball while he deals with Broly. The rematch of the century is about to begin. Gohan and Krillin sit and wonder where Broly had gone. Bulma asks what's taking so long and what the next move is. Gohan and Krillin decide that they are going to use their ability to sense power levels to track down the next Namekian village. Gohan is a little hesitant only because he can also sense Vegeta and Kakarot's power levels alongside his dad's. He tells Krillin, but Krillin lets him know that he can feel them too, but he's not worried. He tells Gohan that Broly's power far surpasses Vegeta and Kakarot's at this point, and that there's nothing to worry about. Krillin tells Gohan to relax, and they go find the next Dragon Ball. They set off for the village. As they fly closer to the village, they can sense some horrendous power levels. They spot 3 villains trying to coerce the Namekian villagers to give up their Dragon Ball. Gohan and Krillin hunker down on a cliff to see what happens next. The Namekians protest the fat pink villain, but ultimately the village elder meets his demise, but not before destroying their scouters. Gohan and Krillin fight back and gather the young Dende and escape with Dodoria hot on their tail. Meanwhile, Broly and Vegeta face off. Vegeta rushes at Broly and tries to land a fatal blow, but Broly is too fast. Broly phases behind Vegeta and punches him in the back. Vegeta lands on the ground face down, unconscious. Kakarot stares in awe. Broly demands Kakarot drop the Dragon Balls. Kakarot tells Broly he's going to have to take them from him. Broly powers up. Namek shakes as Broly's power begins to rise. Kakarot drops the Dragon Balls. Broly stabilizes his power and takes the Dragon Balls back to Bulma. He gets back to Bulma, but Gohan and Krillin aren't back yet. He asks Bulma how long they've been gone, and she says a few hours. Broly flies off as fast as he can. He feels Gohan's power level and rushes to where he is. Gohan and Krillin are caught by Dodoria. Dodoria tells them that after he's done with them, he's going to kill every Namekian on the planet, starting with Dende. Gohan and Krillin stand their ground. Before the fight can begin, Broly lands in between them. Dodoria scoffs and taunts Broly, saying he would happily take care of the 4 low-level runts. Broly stands in silence. Dodoria rushes Broly and throws a punch. Broly stops his fist and squeezes Dodoria's hand. Dodoria yells out in pain and throws a blast directly in Broly's face. The smoke clears and Broly is unfazed. Dodoria looks worried and Broly punches Dodoria in the face, throwing him in the water. Broly turns around and asks who the Namekian child is. Gohan tells him that this is Dende and that Dodoria killed his entire village and they rescued him. They also told Broly that Dodoria wasn't alone and that someone even stronger was with him. Broly tells them not to worry for now and to head back to Bulma. Once they arrive at Bulma's hideout, 2 familiar Saiyans are negotiating with Bulma. Vegeta is doing his best to convince Bulma to hand over the Dragon Balls when Broly, Gohan, and Krillin land. Vegeta assures Broly that nothing's going on and that they just want the Dragon Balls. Vegeta tells them that Frieza heard Vegeta's original conversation with the Namekians over the Scouter and is now in search for the Dragon Balls to grant himself immortality. He continues saying that if Kakarot and Vegeta had the Dragon Balls, they would put a stop to Frieza before he can take over the universe. Broly considers their agreement, but denies Vegeta's request. Vegeta snarls at Broly and powers up, saying he would take them by force. Before they could begin, they notice 5 space pods entering the atmosphere. Vegeta and Kakarot's faces distort with fear. Broly asks who it is, and Vegeta tells them with his voice trembling that it has to be the Ginyu Force. He tells them that they are Frieza's elite of the elite, the strongest and fiercest warriors in the Frieza Force. Vegeta tells them that if Broly didn't give them the Dragon Balls, the Ginyu Force is going to take them by force. Broly tells Vegeta that if he wants the Dragon Balls, then he and Kakarot are going to have to work with them to make sure the Ginyu Force is taken care of. Vegeta and Kakarot reluctantly agree. Our band of unlikely allies fly off to take on the Ginyu Force. The ground shakes, the space pods create giant craters on the planet's surface. The Ginyu Force emerges from their capsules. Our band of heroes touch down on what will be our new battleground. The Ginyu Force introduce themselves, and Captain Ginyu demands to know where the Dragon Balls are. Broly tells Ginyu that he should return to his pod before something bad happens. Ginyu scoffs at the Saiyan, telling him he's too cocky for his own good. He tells him that just one of his warriors could kill all of them without breaking a sweat. Broly tells them to bring it on. Broly tells Gohan he is up first. Gohan looks at Broly stunned. Broly reassures Gohan that he knows Gohan can take them. First up is Guldo. Gohan and Guldo face off, one waiting for the other to make their first move. Gohan rushes Guldo, but Guldo seems to appear several feet away from where he was originally. Confused, Gohan tries again, and again. Yet every time, Guldo is able to escape in just the nick of time. Finally, Gohan realizes that Guldo can stop time and he needs to think outside of just raw strength. He causes a distraction and tries coming at Guldo from the side. He gets so close, but Guldo is able to stop time again just before Gohan strikes. Guldo is able to take the upper hand over Gohan by using his paralysis ability. Gohan almost meets his demise until an unlikely hero saves the day. Vegeta cuts Guldo's head off just before Gohan is skewered. The rest of the Ginyu Force accuse Vegeta of cheating and decide he is next on the chopping block. Recoome sizes up Vegeta and decides to have some fun with him before making an example out of him. Vegeta tells Recoome to not take him so lightly. he rushes the giant brute and shows him that his power has grown substantially since his time on Earth, but Raccoon seems to be a great threat to our heroes. Just before Raccoon lays Vegeta to rest, Broly steps in and dispatches Raccoon with ease. He tosses Vegeta a sensu bean. Then Broly tells Vegeta that he's returned the favor for saving Gohan, and now they're even. Ginyu grins at Broly. He tells him that his show of force is quite the spectacle. Ginyu tells Broly that it's now his turn, and that Jace and Burter will take care of the others. Kakarot faces off against Jace, and Gohan, Krillin, and Vegeta take on Burter. Jace and Kakarot exchange blows. Kakarot uses an energy volley to take on Jace. Jace does his best to dodge as many as possible, but one catches his arm. Jace winces in pain. He lands on his back and Kakarot stands over him. He tells Jace that his time as part of the Frieza Force has come to an end. Burter gives the other Z fighters a run for their money. Gohan and Krillin do their best to hit him up close while Vegeta stays back, firing blasts to try and catch him, but Burter is too quick. Burter punches Krillin to the ground and focuses his time on Gohan. He and Gohan clash. While Burter is distracted, Vegeta blasts Burter in the back. He turns his attention towards Vegeta, but before he could advance, Krillin catches Burter with a famous Destructo Disc, cutting him in half. Vegeta tells Krillin to mind his own business next time. Krillin sarcastically says, "You're welcome." Broly and Ginyu face off amongst the chaos. Ginyu gives Broly one last chance to hand over the Dragon Balls. Broly tells Ginyu he has one last chance to leave the planet. Ginyu laughs and the warriors clash. Ginyu punches Broly in the gut and tries to bash him in the back, but Broly flashes behind Ginyu and kicks him in the side of the head. Ginyu rushes back to Broly and throws a punch at Broly that could be heard amongst the cosmos. It connects with Broly's face and sends the Saiyan to the ground. Broly gets up and powers up. He and Ginyu are back at it, trading blow for blow. Broly lands a crazy combination and sends a blast to Ginyu's chest, throwing him backwards. As he flies backwards, Broly smashes Ginyu to the ground. Ginyu is badly hurt when he comes up with a terrible plan. He plans to switch bodies with Broly. Broly, being blinded by the battle, isn't paying attention when Ginyu launches his signature move.
What is that supposed to mean?
Broly and Ginyu switch bodies. Vegeta and the others look on in horror as the tide of the fight shifts. The new Ginyu puts a beating on Broly that leaves him unconscious. Before he could finish the job, the others jump in and he vanishes. Kakarot starts to go after him, but Vegeta tells him to save his breath. Without Broly, they'll never be able to take on Captain Ginyu. Meanwhile, Ginyu flies through the skies of planet Namek, in awe of his new power. Captain Ginyu uses his scouter to find Bulma and track down the Dragon Balls. He steals them from her and makes his way to Frieza's ship. Captain Ginyu lands at the ship with the Dragon Balls close in tow and decides to rest while he waits for Frieza. The Z-Fighters do their best to make sure Broly is okay. Broly opens his eyes but is badly wounded. Vegeta and Gohan follow after Ginyu while Kakarot and Krillin aid Broly as they follow close behind them. Vegeta and Gohan catch Ginyu at Frieza's ship. Vegeta tells Ginyu that he never got a chance to fight him and he would love a chance to go toe-to-toe with him. Captain Ginyu laughs at Vegeta, telling him he wouldn't even be a challenge. Vegeta starts to taunt Ginyu, saying that he seems scared. Ginyu powers up Broly's body. Vegeta laughs at Ginyu, saying that he can feel his power and Vegeta has nothing to worry about. Ginyu rushes Vegeta and tries to land a hit or two, but can't seem to land a single punch. Vegeta asks what the problem is, angering Ginyu even more. Captain Ginyu starts blindly throwing punches and blasts at Vegeta, with nothing landing. Vegeta uses this as a chance to launch a counterattack. He lands a total of 3 hits that totally incapacitate the Body Snatcher. Captain Ginyu lays in his own crater. Vegeta powers up to deal one last move. Captain Ginyu smiles and shouts, "Change that!" But just before Vegeta was caught by the attack, Broly jumps in from the blast, switching bodies again with Captain Ginyu. And we all know the rest of the encounter. With Broly's body broken and bruised, Vegeta puts him in one of the healing pods on Frieza's ship. Vegeta lets everyone know that Frieza is probably on his way here and they should all prepare as much as they can, because Frieza's power is godlike compared to the Ginyu Force. Dende tells Gohan and Krillin about Guru, the Grand Elder of Namek, and he may be able to help them get a bit stronger. Gohan tells Vegeta that he and Krillin will be back as soon as they can from visiting the Grand Elder. Vegeta scoffs and he tells them not to die before they get back. As they prepare and rest, the greatest threat the Z-Fighters have ever faced lands at the ship. Frieza remarks that Vegeta and Kakarot have been busy, killing off his elite warriors and collecting all 7 of the Dragon Balls. Vegeta tells Frieza that he should watch his tone when talking to him. He tells Frieza that he's become the one thing Frieza fears most. Before he could finish, Frieza tells Vegeta that he shouldn't believe in children's stories. Kakarot laughs at Frieza's response. He tells Frieza that the Prince of Saiyans is not some pushover. His powers have improved vastly since the last... Before he could finish, Frieza blasts Kakarot with his death beam, killing him. Vegeta looks on in horror. Vegeta powers up to his max, rushes Frieza. The two start to clash. Back at Guru's, Dende introduces them to the Grand Elder. Dende tells Guru that Frieza and his men have killed so many of their people, and that he needs to unlock Krillin and Gohan's potential so that they can put a stop to the tyrant. Guru is hesitant, stating that he doesn't know who Gohan and Krillin are, and that he doesn't know if their intentions are pure. Gohan pleads with Guru to help them. Guru places his hand on Gohan's head and reads Gohan's memories. He sees Gohan fighting against Nappa, saving Dende, and fighting against the Ginyu Force. Gohan and Krillin have their potential unlocked and rush back to Vegeta. Vegeta is doing his best to hold his own against Frieza, but Frieza is throwing him around like a rag doll. With his face bloodied and bruised, Vegeta accepts his fate, but just before Frieza ends the Saiyan's life, Gohan swoops in and saves Vegeta. Vegeta tells Gohan that he should have just let him die with pride. Gohan scoffs and tells Vegeta that he considered it. Frieza laughs at Gohan for trying to save him. He reminds Gohan that Vegeta was the one that had the Z-Fighters killed. He was the one that killed the Namekians. Gohan sneezes and his personality changes. Instead of being more timid and quiet, Gohan blurts out that Frieza is kinda short to be an emperor. Vegeta and Krillin squirm in fear. Frieza's facetious grin turned into a scowl. He tells Gohan that he's got a loud mouth and he's happy to shut it for him. Gohan laughs. Frieza asks Gohan if he's so cocky, if he would like to see Frieza's second form. Gohan agrees and taunts Frieza, saying hopefully it'll make him taller. Frieza begins to transform. His horns grow longer. His body grows. Frieza takes on his second form. Vegeta and Krillin tremble. Gohan takes Frieza head on. Frieza and Gohan clash. Gohan throws a stunning combination at Frieza. Gohan lands a few punches, but it's no use against him. Frieza backhands Gohan into a cliffside. Gohan powers up, destroying the rocks around him. He rushes at Frieza, punching and kicking, trying his best to land a blow, but Frieza is just too much. Frieza punches Gohan in the gut. He grabs the young Saiyan by the hair, knees him in the head, and throws him to the side. Broly feels Gohan's power level dropping. He squirms in the healing tank. Vegeta and Krillin look on in horror, feeling powerless to stop Frieza. Frieza asks if this is all they have to offer. Before Krillin and Vegeta can react, Frieza skewers poor Krillin through the gut. He plays with Krillin for a moment, taunting Vegeta and Gohan. Broly grunts, and his power rises. He bursts out of the healing tank, his face contorted with rage. He bursts from Frieza's ship. Frieza notices and tosses Krillin to the water below. Frieza asks Vegeta who Broly is and wonders why he decided to destroy his ship. Broly stays silent, his fists clenched with rage. His power and rage grow to new heights. Frieza, with a smirk, asks Broly if he's lost. Broly shouts as his power rises. Frieza watches on in amusement. Broly finishes powering up and charges Frieza. He throws punch after punch, but Frieza is just too fast. Frieza counters Broly's punches left and right. He punches Broly in the face, knocking him back. Broly catches himself and asks what Frieza is doing on Namek. He tells Broly that he wasn't really interested in the planet at all, until he overheard Vegeta talking about the Dragon Balls and figured this was the easiest way towards his eternal life. Broly tells Frieza that he will never achieve his wish and that he will stop him before he can make his wish. Frieza's smile turns into a scowl. He tells Broly that he has no choice then to transform yet again to beat them all with ease. Frieza begins his next transformation. His head elongates, his shoulders jet outwards. Broly feels Frieza's power skyrocket. With the transformation complete, Frieza prepares to finish off our heroes. With the fight underway, Dende rescues the dying Krillin from the water below. Gohan helps bring Krillin to shore. Dende uses his power to heal Krillin and restore his energy. Krillin, Gohan, and Dende watch as Broly squares up to fight Frieza with all of his might. Broly and Frieza face off. Broly tells Vegeta that if he wants his revenge, that now would be a good time to jump in. Vegeta smirks and thought Broly would never ask. The two Saiyans jump into action. each one fighting Frieza to the best of their abilities. From afar, Vegeta throws his famous energy volley, and while Frieza dodges, Broly tries to take him on hand to hand. Vegeta hits Frieza in the back with a blast, and Broly punches Frieza in the face. Frieza emits an explosive wave that pushes Broly back. The explosive wave destroys some of the terrain around them. Broly catches himself. Frieza chuckles. He tells Broly that he in fact is a powerful Saiyan. He taunts Broly, saying that he surely would be able to take him on in his last form. Broly falls for the bait and lets Frieza transform. Vegeta tells Broly to not let him, but Frieza knocks him out of the air with a ki blast. Frieza initiates his transformation. Now in his final form, Broly senses Frieza's power level being higher than he ever could have imagined. But Broly stands his ground. Frieza asks if Broly is impressed, and Broly smirks. He tells Frieza to stop talking and to hit him with everything he's got. Frieza says, "You first." Broly charges Frieza with everything he has. The two warriors clash. Frieza whips Broly with his tail and wraps it around his neck and throws him to the ground. Broly gets up and charges up. He rushes Frieza again and throws punch after punch, kick after kick, but nothing lands. Frieza dodges his attack and knees Broly in the stomach. He tells Broly that he will never be able to beat him, and then uses an energy blast to launch Broly away. Broly flies out of sight. Vegeta sits up and doesn't see Broly. He fears the worst. Frieza flashes over to Vegeta. Vegeta's eyes widened with fear. Frieza tells Vegeta that this is the end of the line for him. Gohan screams at Frieza to stop. Frieza blasts Vegeta through the chest with his death beam. Vegeta, the prince of all Saiyans, dies. Gohan and Krillin chitter with fear. The ground starts to shake. Mountains crumble. Frieza looks around in confusion. A green aura emits from the distance. Broly yells Frieza's name in anger. Frieza turns and sees Broly's energy destroying the very ground he walks on. Broly flashes in front of Frieza. Frieza stutters. Broly backhands Frieza to the side of the mountain. Broly tells Gohan, Dende, and Krillin to gather the Dragon Balls and wish for Piccolo to come back, so they can use the Dragon Balls on Earth. He tells them to hurry because they don't have much time. They get to work at gathering them. Frieza screams and the rocks shatter around him. Broly and Frieza clash again. Broly throws another combination, but this time punches Frieza across the face and sends him flying. In his anger, Frieza charges up. He flies at Broly and begins to pummel him. Punch after punch, kick after kick, Frieza seems to have the upper hand, until Broly emits a shockwave that knocks Frieza back. His rage soars, and he charges at Frieza. He punches Frieza in the gut. He pulls Frieza up by his head and punches him in the face, and he again flies through the air. Frieza stops himself and screams in anger. He asks Broly where this strength came from, but Broly doesn't answer. Frieza continues to power up and brings the fight back to Broly. Gohan and the others get the Dragon Balls out and summon Porunga. Dende asks what to say, so Gohan tells him to bring Piccolo back to life. Dende uses the dragon speech and Porunga grants their wish. Frieza stops mid-fight and sees Porunga. His face twists with rage. Broly lunges at him while his back is turned, but Frieza uses a blast to knock Broly back. Frieza charges at Gohan, Dende, and Krillin. They use their second wish to wish all the living Namekians to Earth. Just before the wish is granted, Frieza appears behind Dende and the others. Frieza uses his death beam and kills poor Dende. He turns his finger to Gohan. A loud scream echoes throughout Namek. Broly puts his hands in the air, his eyes as white as the clouds. He absorbs the energy from the planet and the life left on it and forms it into a green ball above his head. The ball is the size of a moon. Frieza freezes in his tracks. Broly yells at Gohan and Krillin to move. Gohan grabs Krillin and they move as quickly as they can out of the way. Broly launches this orb at Frieza. The planet rumbles. Frieza does his best to hold the blast back, but Broly's power has grown exponentially and he is quickly overwhelmed. The blast creates a massive crater. Broly, exhausted from this battle, falls to the ground. Krillin and Gohan rush to his side. Krillin starts to celebrate. He tells Broly that everyone will be so excited to hear that he beat Frieza. As they celebrate, Broly senses the evil he thought he just destroyed. Frieza is battered and bloody. He shouts to Broly that no Saiyan could defeat him, and that his punishment is to watch his friends die. And again, we know how this part goes.
Oh, Frieza! Don't do it! Go!
Broly Broly's rage becomes uncontrollable. His anger bleeds through and his body fully transforms. Gohan, being the only one left other than Broly, doesn't know what to do. He does his best to find the ship they landed on and then remembers he needs to track down Bulma. He finally tracks her down and gets her back to the ship. As he's trying to power it up, King Kai tells Gohan he needs to hurry and that he doesn't have much time. Broly's rage is uncontrollable. He flashes to Frieza and grabs him by the neck. He begins to squeeze. Frieza lets out a gasp. Frieza tries prying Broly's hands, but the brute's hand is unmoved. Frieza uses an energy blast and throws it in Broly's face. Broly lets go of Frieza's neck and Frieza is able to escape through the smoke. Frieza is in shock because even with the blast to the face, Broly is unfazed. Broly rushes towards Frieza and hits him with everything he has. He punches Frieza across the face, grabs his tail before he flies away, and pulls him back and kicks him through some rubble. While Frieza flies in the rubble, Broly launches the most powerful Kamehameha we've ever seen. Frieza does his best to hold it back. He has to deflect it, but he deflects it down, penetrating planet Namek's crust, and the planet starts to break down. Broly, giving him no time to recover, rushes Frieza again to put another beating on him. Gohan and Bulma get the ship up and running. Gohan calls out to his father, hoping he would listen and leave the planet with them. In a distorted voice, with his eyes as pale as snow, yells at Gohan to leave. Gohan hesitates, but finally makes the decision to leave the dying planet, making his way back home. Broly very clearly has the upper hand. He uppercuts Frieza, knocking him back. Frieza fires back a barrage of his death beam, each beam bouncing off of Broly. Broly lets out another scream as he grabs Frieza's hand and breaks it. Frieza lets out a shriek as he tries to pull his hand away. Broly leans into Frieza and tells him that this will be the last planet to fall at his hands. Broly then uppercuts Frieza and blasts a hole through Frieza's chest. Broly holds Frieza up by his wrist and throws him into the lava below. Broly lets out a roar that could be heard throughout the cosmos. In his rage, he emits an explosive wave that destroys the planet. Gohan, unable to feel his father's power, fears the worst. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know of any suggestions or ideas you guys would like to see in the next part. In the next part of the series, we're going to explore what would happen if Broly encountered the androids. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.